Well, this is something I've wanted to do for a little while here. This is our first podcast episode since Anime North itself. We're 4 weeks removed from the 30th AN. And if you listen to episode 101, when we taped it there, I noted that someone was in the audience that was involved in the Crunchyroll Anime Awards, which were being awarded during AN weekend as well. And I made the promise then that we'd have him on to talk about his involvement in the Crunchyroll Anime Awards, and I'm going to keep that promise right now. It's Saturday evening, June the 20th, 2026, just for reference. And writer for Anime Trending, William Mu, is sitting with me for this time around. I've wanted to have William on for a little while. Our schedules just haven't truly lined up. But we have a bunch of mutual friends.
Yeah, we do.
You're good because I know you're good friends with Kevin and James.
And Clint as well.
And Clint, who... so I'm glad to have you on. And Clint I know pretty well too. We try not to... I don't know if he's comfortable if we mention him by name, but he's been mentioned more than a few times on this podcast. But as I said, we've wanted to have William on because of his ties. He is a writer with Anime Trending. We have mentioned his articles on a couple different occasions on the podcast. He's the one that revealed to us that Sarah Natocini has listened to Sumire Urisaka's performance as Alia in Roshidare. So, and that she has critiqued her that Natocini has critiqued Urisaka's Russian, and it's
pretty good, like pretty close to native speakers. But yeah, I was that interview was great. I'm just hearing about her experience doing that. Aside from like. Obviously, we know her for dubbing Ash from Pokemon, but like it's good to kind of see her in that in another different English dubbing role, for sure, right? So
yeah, I forgot the article a little bit. Did you get a sense that she? How do I put this? Like she appreciated like Alia and Ash are very different characters.
Yeah,
and actors always like to challenge themselves, I would assume.
Yeah.
Did you get the sense that she appreciated this challenge?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's a challenge for her. At the end of the day, it's a job for her, right? So she's a professional. She knows what to do and tackle that specific character, which so happens to speak like authentic, legit Russian, right? So I assume that's why she had a role in that series for sure, right? But yeah, she's she was excited, and I hope she'll definitely be back for season 2 for sure.
Right? Yeah, so it's one of those things. Maybe she didn't have to audition for it either, or
yeah. Well, we can't speculate too much. Yeah,
and that's probably not.
But I wouldn't be surprised if she got a call about it, honestly.
Yeah,
but, yeah.
I mean, Uesaka was known to have, by all accounts, had the inside track. Always had the inside track for.
Well, she is the Japanese voice actress who knows Russian, so naturally that was an easy role for her as well, right?
Mm-hmm. So, all right. So let's here's the reason I wanted to chat with you. I get that the Crunchyroll Anime Awards is a month past now, but the talk of it will always be there, especially since it's going to still be there and come this point next year, or when the cycle begins on the awards, on the nominees next year. This discussion is going to come up again about the awards and whatever scuttle and criticisms and controversies all come. And honestly, we'll touch on that a bit later. What fascinated me is we personally knew somebody on the judging panel for it, as in you. So I want to find out how the hell you ended up with a judge's role. How'd they contact you for that? And then and then maybe a little bit of the mentality and what you thought and your thoughts on what came out in terms of the awards.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, without giving too many state secrets, I was brought into the Crunchyroll Awards judging panel just through, I guess, a referral is the best way of putting it. Last year in 2025, I was invited to an actual like Crunchyroll kind of exclusive press event. And I met some people there from influencers and people from the Crunchyroll teams around at that event. So it was pretty good. It was pretty cool. And funny enough, I also met like someone who worked at Watch Mojo on the anime side during at that event too. But yeah, it was a really fun time. And then around December, I got the email for that opportunity to join the judges panel, and yeah, that's sort of how I was kind of referred to the awards for that. So it was pretty simple because I was thinking about wanting to get involved with the awards in some way, but yeah, I was just grateful for the opportunity and just had a good time just picking out all the good anime from 2025. Yeah.
And the awards came out.
Yeah.
All right, so what was on your bingo card compared to what numbers were called?
I mean, like, I think we talked about it off the record before, but yeah, the final results I wasn't too surprised with, because like they were different from what I chose in the end, because like most of my choices were not picked as the final winners, but yeah, I mean there were a few here and there, but for the most part I wasn't surprised that My Hero Academia won, like the final season won the Anime of the Year award, or like you gotta remind me what were other kind of titles that
I'm trying to like look at the categories. Film of the Year, Demon Slayer.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's Castle. Not I mean, just going back to that conversation about I guess quote unquote controversy around Crunchyroll Awards, like anything shonen is gonna be anything shonen is like gonna be a big indicator of what awards they're gonna win, like which one's gonna be the most popular, right? So My Hero Academia, Demon Slayer, even Solo Leveling still managed to win an award. Funny enough, like all the big action shonen shows are they're all like, I wouldn't say guaranteed to win something, but they have a really good chance of just coming out on top, honestly.
Is it these are as mainstream to the fandom?
Yeah.
These titles, like looking at the list, the winners, just looking at it now.
And they're, it's just an indicator of the audience, the target audience, right? The Crunchyroll Awards are going to be different. The Anime Awards, Crunchyroll Anime Awards are going to be different from, like, say, the Reddit Anime Awards or the Anime Trending Awards. Like, they're all going to have different, some similar winners, but also different winners and choices as well, right? So
depends on the audience. Depends.
Yeah.
Could it be depending on priority? I hate to use the word priorities because I wouldn't know exactly where to place it.
Yeah.
In this context.
Yeah,
right?
And it's also important. I think with the Anime Awards, like, you can vote on like pretty much a lot every day for your favorite shows within like a specific voting period too, right? So some other places you just get one vote, right? So that's another key indicator too.
Yeah. Well, this is, and looking at down the list. So film, like it's still a long list, and then that's before you get to the nominees, which everything, and all of them were enough of them were interesting series. I mean, I admit I only have 20 so much time, so I can't say I've watched all of them.
Yeah, I will say best romance there. That seems to be the consensus across like all the anime spaces. But the fragrant flower blooms with dignity was, I think, similar to Kaguya-sama Love is War. It kind of almost swept that romance categories. So
in the past, like when
and it's a pretty popular title amongst romance fans. Like we had the lead Japanese voice actress come to
Honoka.
Honoka. She came to Anime North and she had a good amount of lines. People wanting to get her autograph too.
I got it. I told the story.
Including yours truly and you as well, right? So
yeah, I've told the story already.
Yeah, but yeah, it's like, there are, you kind of get a pulse of was popular and what is like what's a hot new thing, right? But I'm always for like the anime series that people kind of they don't keep too much track on it, like the underdogs, so it's but the anime awards are they are what they are. Like they're a popularity contest, I feel, at the end of the day, if that's a smoking hot take, right?
Sometimes it's Captain Obvious too.
Yeah.
It's not really a hot take, because this has always been part of the discussion concerning the awards, and it's credibility, I guess. I mean, it's such a like I don't want to hate on it too, right? I don't really want to hate on the awards, because it is meant to be a celebration of the medium and our fandom, just like Anime North is.
And I definitely share those sentiments, and I'm always like, because right now, before, I think earlier anime awards, their ceremonies were a little simpler, but now that they're hosting it in Japanese hotel in Tokyo, right? I've been told they're trying to make it a little more like the Game Awards, like a little more bigger, a lot of special guests, celebrities, presentations, music performances, and I mean I like that. I don't mind that. What's the word? That flashiness, that
marketing.
Yeah, that high-end marketing, it feels like it gives anime sort of a legitimacy that, it's not just something that a bunch of guys in a college or university or anime club or in a small room somewhere just deliberate on what anime wins or something like that, right?
Well, okay, I feel like going down when we say legitimacy, going down that rabbit hole for a couple of minutes, because I think we're at this point, like in this discussion, what do we define as legitimacy here then, right?
Yeah.
Because the glitz, the glamour,
the orange carpet, the nice dresses and tuxedos and suits.
That's one part of the legitimacy.
The surface looking stuff, yeah.
Yeah, and then, good point, surface.
Yeah.
Then we start to drill a little deeper, because once again, harping on the point, it's a vote. It's a lot of this is a popularity contest.
Yeah.
Right? Partly a marketing thing. If you want to use the whole video game awards bit.
Yeah.
A lot of that was also a vehicle for, like in recent years, a vehicle for reveals as well.
Oh yeah.
And trailers.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Crunchyroll has gotten to that point, because I didn't see the ceremony, I'll be honest.
I was thinking about replaying and looking at the ceremony at some point, but there are some like upcoming trailers. They're not as elaborate as, like, I remember with the Game Awards they had the trailer for the live action Street Fighter movie. I like stuff like that didn't happen at those at the Anime Awards necessarily, just because with anime announcements there's a whole like song and dance that comes with that. So I'm not sure if they were comfortable with revealing any stuff at this year's ceremony, but there was I think they probably showed like sizzle reels or trailers for stuff that were already announced that are coming down the pipeline, you know.
So basically, the quote unquote key visual. I mean, they use the phrase key visuals.
Key visuals or trailers, yeah.
Yeah.
Those
or trailers for or something, but
definitely trailers.
Stuff already known.
Yeah, pretty much.
But basically of IP and titles and seasons probably that have already been revealed to the public in some form. So just to keep the buzz going. Okay, so that's one part of the legitimacy, right? The glitz and the glamour. But once again, to restate, it's a popularity contest. A lot of it at its heart, or what a big part of it is, it's a popularity contest. When you think about things like, they call it the Oscars of the media, right? That's somewhat. But keep in mind, when you talk about the Oscars, a lot of that is voted on people who are in the know in the industry, involved in the industry, all actors, producers, technical staffs, often involved, and that was a seeming regular criticism was the industry itself doesn't seem to be involved with the Anime Awards, or as much.
As much, yeah. I mean, just going off of that point, I mean, they were trying to like invite a lot, because they moved their ceremonies to Japan for a reason, right? Just to cater and get a lot of Japanese staff to the ceremonies. But it's usually like the top end staff that kind of goes to the ceremonies, honestly. They keep it like pretty narrow on who is invited. Obviously, they send the directors, producers, maybe lead voice actors and actresses, but you know, the animators, you know, got the people who do keyframes, like
that's called the trenches.
Yeah. I mean, even like the screenwriters, animation directors, like anime is, I've learned, is a lot. There's a lot of people. There's a team. There's a city behind making them what they are at the end of the day. And yeah, the ceremony is just like, it's usually definitely producers and directors, any other front-facing staff that shows up to those, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Where I am now is, and remember, about a week or two after Anime North, the head of Studio Wit,
George Wada, yeah,
that's
he
his
was
name.
involved with Production IG as well.
Yeah, George Wada then spoke up and probably wanted something, and spoke about the idea that what about, wants an Anime Awards without Crunchyroll? I think that was the headline in Variety. One Piece Anime Studio wants an Anime Awards without Crunchyroll, and that was a talking point also in the Answer Man article that somebody asked about the relevance.
Yeah,
and Jerome M, whose last name
Jerome M. He does a good job with it.
And that was a well thought out answer. Yeah. I enjoyed his answer.
Yeah.
But shining the light on, okay, what do the actual Japanese people think? And the short answer is, one, they might not know.
Yeah.
And those that do, probably not much. Don't think too much of it.
Mainly because Crunchyroll doesn't have,
as a brand.
They're not in Japan, as they do have, I believe they do have an office there, but their streaming service doesn't offer much or isn't available in Japan because
it's more
licensing restrictions, and Japan has its own like streaming services as well. So I've heard, I've read that, Japanese anime fans that kind of go out to like North America are just surprised by the amount of anime series that they have access to when they do use Crunchyroll in the US or Canada. So, it's just a different kind of media ecosystem there, I feel, honestly.
Well, we've harped on the fact in the past, Japan in some ways loves its physical media.
Yeah.
I mean, and the way they go about things is quite different in terms of consumption.
Yeah. They love their physical media. It's still there, but just like in the rest of the world, there's like a lot more online magazines getting popularity, and with like it, they the Blu-rays don't have even Blu-rays don't have much impact on an anime's like success as they used to, right? So it's all about streaming rights, pretty much, and physical media I feel like is being viewed as more collectible stuff now. So
okay,
yeah.
so just we'll get back to
But yeah, going
no,
back to
I do
that,
want to
yeah.
come back here, but now that you brought that up, just in your opinion, because I think you know this better than I do. What is so a proper measure of an IP success in anime form, and probably more importantly, what is like I heard that the sales of Blu-rays also help determine the fate of say a continuation, a second season, a third season.
Back in the day, yeah, but
Where is it
I've
now?
also, I mean, a few few like Answer Man articles have kind of like demystified that myth, so to speak. It's like, because physical media, not a lot of people have Blu-rays nowadays, right? And it's even Blu-rays, DVDs, they can, if you're living like in a small place or something like that, you probably don't have enough space, right? So if everything's digital, then you can just access it on your computer, phone, like whatever.
So are we overrating? Is the idea that
Yeah.
a Blu-ray sales kind of overrated?
Yeah, I believe so.
Like we put
They
too much
don't have as much. I feel like they're not the production companies and all the power players behind making anime. They're not too focused on that. Like obviously, I think if a Blu-ray sells, Blu-ray or DVD sells well, then I guess they'd be happy. But I think streaming rights to like Crunchyroll or Netflix, Amazon, I think that's where they're kind of focused on right now.
So basically selling to them.
Yeah, or becoming a part of the production committee too,
Which
right?
is where Crunchyroll has been. Which
Yeah,
is the
they've
talk
been
of
trying to do
Crunchyroll.
that. Yeah, and Netflix and Amazon are trying to do that as well. Like I'd say the big power players in anime right now are Crunchyroll, Netflix, Amazon, and for their Prime Video services. And then you got like small players like High Dive, Sentai Filmworks still making a few grounds here and there, but that might be a conversation for another time. But yeah, it's like physical media, I think, still has a place, but it's like I think more and more people are still wanting to get access to digital stuff, at least on the anime side. So the manga side is I've learned is a bit of a different animal, so to speak. Yeah.
Manga and probably light novels too, since that's becoming more of a thing. But I think, to your point, I think light novels and manga probably sit in similar boats. And
Yeah.
so, like right now, at this point in time.
Yeah, I mean, manga more so. It's a little more popular because they always had that post-COVID boom and popular. Like a lot of people want to collect and have that, have it like shown on a bookshelf or something like that. So light novels are. I've learned from a panel from like, can't remember. I think Miles did a panel at AN about it, and I did go to J Novel Club's panel in Anime NYC once, but there's a lot of light novels, and they're not as popular as manga, so printing them is not gonna guarantee the company that they'll make their money back on that for sure, right?
I'm borderline agreeing with you, but then you'll end up with titles that have that had a broad appeal, or at least,
For light novels, right?
in terms of light novels.
Yeah.
It's just, or maybe there's a bias in me because remember, I'm into the romance comedies. I've never shied away from mentioning it.
Yeah.
The seasons of I Made Friends with the Second Prettiest Girl. I think that just ended its season.
Yeah.
Certain or about to, because the core.
I believe that ended
this week or
I
last
made
week.
friends with the second last. I think I was watching it. Funny enough, yeah. Final episodes might be coming out. Like a lot of anime are wrapping up nowadays
Because the core is ending. So and Angel Next Door finished up yesterday actually.
Okay,
with
I have to
episode 12.
catch up, Mike. No spoilers.
I've watched up to episode 10, so 11.
Yeah, I'm
12.
on. I think I'm on 11. Yeah.
So I have to watch 11 and 12 myself.
Yeah.
But those are titles that got I don't know, like I guess it's not mainstream enough within our fandom, but there's certainly a big push amongst its fans to make it bigger.
They're not like the big action shonen titles, but they have an audience for sure, right?
Yeah. And those are based on, and those have their core in light novels.
Yeah.
We talked about Fragrant Flower and how much that became a thing this year.
Oh,
over the last 12 months, right? So maybe you can lump the titles I just mentioned into the romance part.
Yeah, people want to engage and find good romance animes. I feel
just good stories.
Good stories. I mean, because I find just from my personal experience, obviously watching the action shows are fine, but I just want to relax and chill. I don't need to see the characters in a world of fire all the time, right? I mean, just seeing them enjoy their day-to-day lives is okay too, right?
Isekai adventurer.
Yeah,
it seems to be a thing these days, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just weird, and I stumble.
Well, even isekai is you got the action stuff, but you also got I'm watching. Reincarnated as a farmer or something like that on High Dive, and it's just like it's just like Farming Simulator, the anime, pretty much.
That sounds like that sounds like something I've seen on Manga Up, at least, because I have a Manga Up subscription.
Okay,
right?
That's good. Yeah,
I wouldn't be, and I've read the manga there. I've read the Angel Next Door manga on that.
Yeah.
And I became familiar with. I became friends with or the girl I like forgets her glasses, right? Because the complete manga, since that's what was SquareSoft, the complete manga is here. The anime series I've been going through. I think I finished 10 episodes of that.
It's a Gohan series, which is people have opinions about them.
Oh, yeah. That's a very funky style. Like just the way they bring in the computer animation.
I'm like you either hate them or I'm
fascinated by them.
You just want to root for them. I want to root for them so bad.
I am.
They have another anime, I think this season called Exile Knight. So hopefully that'll be. But they have a distinct style for sure.
Yeah, I found it fascinating and jarring at times, but in a fun way.
Yeah, I remember Handshakers and Wiz, those type of anime just defined. But yeah, those anime just defined a bunch of comedic takes, I guess. But yeah, I guess we were a bit off topic about that. But you got to steer back the ship, Mike.
Okay.
We're lost at sea,
Well, this is how.
But
this is how the space eaters go, dude.
Yeah, that's fine. And I'm enjoying the time for sure, right?
Besides, and as I said, I didn't want to harp too much on the awards because it happened a month ago, right?
Yeah.
And the discussion will be ongoing. I'm curious to see what happens for this more Japanese-led. It's George Wada.
Yeah.
Right? He made news a couple weeks ago, at least amongst fandom, when he rallied the idea of something more Japanese oriented in terms of anime awards, and I like his idea. I mean, just on its surface, I like the idea. Will it come? I mean, I think Jerome made a point of mentioning the Japanese industry has not had the habit of congratulating itself. It doesn't have its own awards. I wondered if it's more of a cultural thing.
You're talking about anime industry or media industry in general?
Could be both. I don't know.
Well, they have the Japanese Academy Film. They have their own film awards too, right? And I feel like on the anime side, they always have the voice actors and actresses awards too. If I guess if that counts. But like, I guess you have a point about them not, I guess, like awarding themselves awards.
They should. Like, I think
bit
it's
of
cool
a-
to acknowledge your work, to be able to
Yeah.
have for the industry to acknowledge itself and the best in
Yeah.
itself.
I mean, they always do manga awards too, right? So I don't think it's not foreign to them to do something like that. But with the anime industry, it's just that, why not? I mean, I guess the only significant thing is like the Japanese Academy film category for best anime film or something like that. But there should be something for series at least.
At least from domestically for them.
Yeah, for sure. Something that's also, I guess, non-partisan. Not associated with a brand too.
And that's part of the dilemma with Crunchyroll's
Yeah.
involvement here, right? I mean, the next moves is, you think logical, but getting there, and this is once again to use Jerome's words, it's not. What's the word? It's a choice. It's not a dilemma. It's a choice. Or I think but that's the key thing. I mean, I like the idea at its core. Where would that put something like the Crunchyroll Anime Awards? Should this come to pass? I don't think it changes too much.
No, I mean,
that'll
the
always
anime awards will still go as is as long as Crunchyroll wants to do it, right? So, we'll just have to look forward to next year's ceremony and see, and hopefully I return as a judge too, right? So, we'll see how that.
If you want my take, I don't think there's nothing wrong. I don't think there's anything like having the awards in and of itself I find nothing wrong with.
Yeah.
I mean, the debate as to whether or not its relevance and how seriously it should be taken, okay, we can have that conversation. But its mere existence, I don't mind. It's just, I get the feeling, okay, I mean, you're there. You're in the judges panel. I mean, do I think, should it sit at the top? Well, right now it's there by default. Almost by default, I'd say. But
yeah, in terms of like anime awards, like I said, you have them at the top because of all the pomp and circumstance and marketing and money behind what they do, and then you have grassroots stuff like the Anime Trending Awards that I do kind of get involved with that to an extent, and then the Reddit Anime Awards too, which is like really small, but the fans are passionate, and Reddit. That whole Reddit anime community is like
they add each other all the time. I mean, they can get
the Reddit anime awards are interesting because there's a judges only choice, and then there's people's choice. Yeah.
Well, and this is this is my point about, okay, if you want my take on the relevancy of the Crunchyroll Awards. As I said, nothing against it, but it's just, there's a reason sometimes it's called award season, because there's a whole bunch of things, whether it's, Screenwriters Guild, People's Choice, Golden Globes when they existed. Hey, even the MTV Awards.
Yeah. Well, MTV and those popular stuff, they're always like open to the fans to vote, but stuff like, the Academy Awards, Screenwriters Guild, like those are like organized by like specific committees that are non-partisan, not part of a studio or a company, and they do give off a good like air of like legitimacy and authority for those I guess for whichever titles wins those awards, right? Even like if we talk about it in a sports context, right? I'm just thinking about baseball, like the Baseball Writers Association of America chooses like, the different MVPs of, the American and National League, right? And not like they're specifically chosen to vote on not all of the awards, but, a specific award every year, like the Cy Young or MVP, right? So, if anime wants to do that in a similar style, have like set up like a separate like committee of people in the industry, like or who were involved in the anime production side, just to like pick and honor the best titles of a specific year, then I think they should go for it. But at the same time, you can still have stuff like the anime awards where it's open to the public, right? And it's a good like publicity for a lot of titles too, right? So that's sort of my take on it. Honestly,
I think there's room for both.
Yeah, there's room for both. Yeah,
I think in the long run, there's room for all of it.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's why. Can I give you one more sports example?
Yeah,
that's
go
just
ahead.
Interesting. The NHL awards. There's a bunch of those. Yes,
Yeah.
You have your Lady Bings, you have your Hearts, you have your Norse.
Yeah.
One award that does all that, you have to kind of that maybe I want to bring up is the Ted Lindsay Award. Mm-hmm. Right. The Ted Lindsay Award is voted on by the players. What they by the MVP, but strictly voted on by the players.
And that's different from like the Selkie trophy?
It's different from the Hart because that's voted on by writers.
Right, okay,
Or
yeah.
That's more voted on by writers. But and by the way, the Ted Lindsay is also NHLPA sponsored. So that's the union, players union.
Right, okay.
Gives out
that
that
makes
award.
sense.
And I don't think it may not necessarily be part of the NHL awards proper, but it is often mentioned in the same breath as those awards start to come out.
Yeah.
And I think that's and that's fine too, right? And I'm okay with that, because the view is always different from different angles.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with, like, I mean, Wada has a point. Wow, Wada has a point
Yeah.
to me, and I'm all for where he wants to go, but that's up to them.
Yeah, it is up to them.
It's up to them as a. I'm
Yeah.
not saying it as an industry. I'm not so sure who would initiate this, but that's up to them as a Japanese domestic side,
Well,
right?
we'll have to see, right? Like, I feel like George Wada can't start his own like anime awards that's kind of like associated with like MAPPA or Production IG, right? It has to be like, if you want to make your own legitimate like anime awards that's only open to like people in the industry to vote, then you gotta have like, you gotta not be associated with a brand. Honestly, I think so.
So you think it's already problematic because he's associated with a studio? He's associated with two studios at the very least.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's kind of a blurry line. I guess he could still be involved, but like, he'd have to separate himself somehow. But I'm not gonna give them ideas, because I'm that's above my pay grade. But like, I do think there might be something coming down the road, at least on the Japanese side. If not, then we'll be waiting. We'll be waiting for a while. So
Yeah, but until then, this is like, we'll have this discussion again next year, almost certainly. If nothing
changes, if everything just goes as is, then that's fine. But I will say, one thing I was thinking about the anime awards this week that popped into my head is the amount of so they call it donghua, but they're like Chinese animated series that look similar to anime. And I was just thinking about like how a lot of people online were talking about, like, there's a series called To Be Hero X that was really popular. It went viral a bit on Twitter and stuff like that. It's done by a Chinese animation studio, but the Japanese. There were some Japanese production involved as well, and I feel like the Anime Awards could probably get, like, with the Academy Awards has a best, I guess, foreign film award. Like, and I feel like Anime Awards might get a best like foreign animated show award or something like that, at least in East Asia too. So the Chinese are doing a lot of creative, shows. The Koreans animation industry is also getting up there as well, actually. So that's sort of like what I was thinking about, at least this week. Sort of I feel like they can add like a best foreign show category as well. But I don't know if you had any thoughts about that.
I don't know what to make of it, to be honest. I think. Then at what point does it stop becoming Japanese? But then again, you just said foreign anyway. So it's acknowledged that it's a thing to the fandom, I guess.
Yeah.
Because we don't... Look, when we talk... And I hope people don't interpret this as going completely off topic. But I have to draw a parallel. Sometimes when people talk about their being fans of BL, right? We cite not just Japanese titles, but Chinese titles too.
Yeah. Danmei and a lot of those titles. Danmei and I think Baihei as well. That's their version of Girls Love. I followed that like new licenses for those, but they do have an audience as well.
And then the audience overlaps. That's the point I was getting at, right? And I mean, and that's before we start to get to the Korean webtoons.
Yeah.
Which like things like Korean webtoons or something like Solo Leveling.
I mean, Solo Leveling's like it counts as an anime, but like the Koreans have been involved in like the anime industry for a while. The Koreans, the Filipinos, the Vietnamese as well. I'm just thinking about all the names I see in the credits sometimes, but yeah, it's like with regards to your talk about webtoons and all that, there's a I think Korean animated series called Tomb Raider King that's gonna
just add one word to it.
Yeah, not related to Tomb Raider, but Tomb Raider King. It's a popular webtoon, but it's also getting its own Korean animated series. Crunchyroll is gonna simulcast it as well, so it has its webtoon culture is like it's its own different beast, right? So, but yeah, I definitely be open to seeing that kind of a category of that ilk be involved in the anime awards at some point. So.
As I said, I wonder how people will feel about that. But then again, we're talking this is a foreign audience too. So I guess to be fair.
Well, sometimes people can't tell the difference if it's animated from China and streaming on site like Bilibili, and then they can't differentiate if it's like from an anime, like a Japanese anime series as well. Because like I still think they look similar. Like I still think people kind of confuse the two, right? So
can I go one more and we'll eventually kind of come here later on.
Yeah.
You remember the Netflix movie Flavors of Youth, which was done by the same studio that did
Howliners.
Yeah, because those were Chinese stories. Those were Chinese short stories. But it was done by the studio that's known to do a lot of Makoto Shinkai stuff.
Yeah, Comics Wave Films. Yeah, there's a line being blurred with Chinese and Japanese studios. They're starting to partner up a bit more, right? Mainly because China, the population of China is like there's still a lot of people, and that's like an untapped market for the Japanese companies want their anime to be shown in China, but with China they have like strict guidelines.
Well, again it's that shell that exists.
Yeah, but China's like just now, hey, we don't have to take your shows. We can make our own shows. We have our own studios that we can make, right? So that's why you have the rise of Bilibili and I was trying to remember. I just wrote about it today. Right, Link Click is another popular Chinese animated series. So there's not as many that's being licensed in the West right now, but I feel like there will be kind of more stuff from them coming out soon. So
something to look for.
Yeah.
Fear maybe, or just keep an eye on it.
Keep an eye on it, yeah. But you know, they do have their own audiences, as you mentioned it before, right? So
Okay, so now moving away from that. One more thing on Crunchyroll. They opened up their services in Taiwan and Korea within the last week,
yeah,
right?
South Korea, yeah.
Okay, I just learned about it myself because I am not always keeping up, obviously. Life happens. Is there a take there?
Oh no, I was just like allowing you to continue.
I just don't
honestly,
know.
yeah.
I just don't know what to make of it. I mean,
I think it's more of a business side. It kind of ties into where we talked about Crunchyroll's not being not being known in Japan as much. Like I went to like they're trying to Crunchyroll's trying to like expand it to like the Southeast Asian territories and you know expand their business there. You know, as well as places like India. Like it just because it's an untapped market and there's just a lot of people, right? And you know, it just gives them more options to market themselves. Honestly, so you know, hopefully the people of South Korea and Taiwan will get get a good amount of shows to stream as well there, right? So you know,
I know. It's just
yeah,
you know, people like there's very there's polarizing opinions on Crunchyroll within fandom.
yeah,
People
yeah.
love it. People, well, no, there's a lot of people that really hate it.
I've known people that have strong opinions about
And
it. I've read a lot of stuff online about them. Yeah, for sure.
So, but that's
Well, I don't know. I don't want to mention the right stuff thing that they
well.
did as
I
well,
mean,
right?
but the other side is, and this is the flip side of all of this is, tell me something that entertainment companies don't do to get fans angry. I think we have a version of this even in mainstream.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
all the
among-
big movie
among the-
studio, like even if you want to take it in a broader sense, that whole Warner Brothers Paramount merger is like, I don't think a lot of people are happy about that, but that's probably a little more
But it's
like, outside of like entertainment stuff too, right? So,
yeah, but that's sort of it's related in some ways and then not related in
Yeah.
others. But let's just say what we see in Crunchyroll, just the bottom line angst.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily unique. We just taught, but we are getting into, but we get so caught up in the particulars.
Well, they're owned by Sony. That's
And that's part
when
of it,
they
too.
were when they were bought by Sony, like those few years back, is like
But we're
something
talking like
changed. Okay, like I think everyone knew like they changed, and you know, to be fair to Crunchyroll, they were owned by different companies before. They haven't been independent for a while, honestly. So you know,
Well, keep in mind who did Sony buy it from? Warner Brothers.
yeah.
So imagine
AT&T technically, I think.
AT&T
Yeah.
technically, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I could be wrong, but yeah, I think it was that company for sure.
But AT&T Warner?
Yeah, something like that.
Imagine-
It's hard to
I
keep
know.
track of
But imagine you take that, if that didn't happen, and then all these years later, all 5-6 years now later, onward,
Yeah.
if Crunchyroll remained in that umbrella, how would it have gotten caught up in the whole Warner Brothers, Netflix, Paramount thing?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that have been interesting?
Well, I feel like when they got in when they were bought by Sony, just like, I think it was a double-edged sword where, you know, they were probably going to be more profit-driven, but, you know, maybe they might have resources to enhance, like, you know, different customer experiences, maybe get more shows licensed in the West as well. So I was just thinking about that, and but for the most part, it's like they're all just kind of profit-driven at the end of the day, I feel.
Nothing personal, it's business.
Yeah.
But it's the irony is not the irony, but I guess it's just the way the anime is gone. The anime and manga side, it's gone because it used to be very, very underground. Now it's mainstream and it's a lot more mainstream, and
Yeah.
there with those growth, there's growing pains.
Yeah.
And this is just how we're dealing with those growing pains.
Yeah, at least on the like people, at least on the fan side, like it's I think right now where Crunchyroll's at, like I'm just looking at my summer 2026 watch list, seeing what shows are coming up. There's a lot they're being involved in. I feel like they have being involved in like co-productions as well. But you know, they're scooping up a lot of shows, delivering what fans are subscribing to them, and you know, fans can say, "Hey, I don't want to support this company. I'm canceling my subscription and just gonna pirate anime or something like that." But you know, at the end of the day, it's sort of like Netflix. Like you can get mad at them, but they'll still have like their millions of subscribers, right? So,
You can get mad, and you can get mad at that, and you can try and pirate, but the companies seem more willing to play whack-a-mole now.
yeah, to shutting it down, and even the pirated episodes aren't like they're not subbed by fan groups mostly anymore. They're just ripped from like a Crunchyroll or Netflix side, right? So you know,
Hence the whack-a-mole. Hence the
definitely.
the whack coming out. But it's an ongoing discussion. Always is.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're done with that part of the story. Do you want me to? Okay, I mentioned when I did my stream last week. I said I was going to go see the. Now we're coming back to Shinkai. I was going to go see the live action 5 centimeters per second.
Yeah, how was that, by the way?
Excuse me. Short answer is thumbs up.
Yeah.
Overall thumbs
That's
up.
good.
Let's go there. I mean, I think this is a no-brainer for anybody who enjoyed the original anime. So
Yeah. I remember watching it back in the day too, and you know, I think it's my favorite Shinkai film. I know people say like Weathering with You or Your Name, like those are big titles, but I still feel a connection with I can't 5 centimeters per. Why was I thinking 100 centimeters per second? I always screw up the
measurements. Your heart does drop that far, doesn't it? By the end of it. So.
Yeah, but you know the film structure, the tone, the way the characters kind of talk about like that lost love is like that hit me in the feels back in the day, and it's still, I'd say it still holds up. It's a good film, but I didn't mention it. You. Off the record about this before. I was talking to a friend about 5 centimeters per second, and when he watched the anime film, that was his. I feel like that was his. I guess version of watching Grave of the Fireflies. It was so. It's not a direct comparison, but like it's a film where he just felt so depressed after that he rather not watch that film again. And yeah,
I sort of get it.
Yeah, it's a heavy film because it's just so relatable, and well, I don't want to go too much into spoilers, but you know, it takes the character not getting with the girl he likes to.
I think enough of us.
A realness, like a real end to it. You know.
So I think one of the biggest criticisms of the live action was it doubled the time of the original because it's just over 2 hours.
Well, the original anime film was like 3 vignettes. They were pretty short and sweet. And
they were.
I love that pacing.
The middle being the longest.
Yeah.
But when you totaled it up, it was just over an hour, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah.
And there are many things that I'm trying to recall because I haven't seen the anime recently.
Yeah.
I wanted to watch it again, not around the time I watched the movie last week to see what I did forget. And it's turning out I think I forgot a lot of it.
I need to be in the right mood if I'm ever going to watch that anime film again.
I do think, as I said, the biggest criticism is it was double the length, so it was 2 hours long.
Wait, 2 hours?
Yeah, the story was 2 hours. And they didn't vignette it. They didn't vignette it like you saw.
Okay, so it's just like one continuous feature-length story.
No, it just like starts like it kind of flashback. It takes it tells the story in flashbacks mainly.
Right. Around. Okay.
And how do I put this? Some characters that you some characters you knew of
Yeah.
from the anime are fleshed out a little bit more. Some that you became more familiar with in the anime version take a little bit more of a back seat.
Right.
A little bit more of a back seat in this one, right? I mean, you'll be surprised who gets what treatment in this, actually. How spoily should I get? You'll also realize how, like, it didn't dawn upon me. I didn't really think too much about, about how close Takaki and Akari, the two main characters, like, how close they were to ever seeing each other again. And the live action will tell you a little bit about that, right? The live action will really give you a sense of that.
They got within millimeters of each other, not centimeters.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Right?
They were like just...
Both figuratively and literally, you could say.
Yeah.
Right? And that, how all of it was really by design. Right? The core, it doesn't go Cowboy Bebop on us. I can assure you that. Because I think a lot of the criticisms that went for the live action Cowboy Bebop is it took too many liberties, I think, with the original plot, with the plot of the anime. As I said, and I'm on the record as saying I enjoyed that, but I'm wondering if I enjoyed it because I was fascinated to see what they wanted to do with it, with the original story, or I was fascinated by, or it was like a spectator watching a NASCAR crash.
Yeah.
Like when I look back on that. In terms of 5 centimeters, I just want to see once again, I want to see what the director wanted to emphasize in retelling the story. But the story remains very much the same. Its bottom line remains very much the same.
Just a little more expanded, I assume, right? It's
expanded, and you feel, and maybe this is, with what you just said, and all of this, with what you just said, I hope these words don't dissuade you from ever wanting to see it. Should you get the opportunity, because that's problematic, and I'll go on that rant in a few minutes. You'll feel the pain a little bit more because of the way they expanded the story. They extended the story, right? You'll feel the pain. You'll feel Takaki's pain a lot more. I think, in this version. Yeah. Because, I mean, okay, how much?
It just feels real, that ending to me, right? Mm-hmm. Like,
I think here's the deal. You said, if you remember the original anime story, it tells the story in 3 vignettes.
Yeah.
The second vignette is told through somebody else's point of view, so you never really got
different girl.
Kane. You never really, and it's told through her point of view, so you never really start to go through. You stop going through Takaki's mind in that second vignette, right? In that second story, throughout the movie, in the live action, you're more drilled into his thoughts all the way through. Yeah. Throughout the whole thing.
So he's more of the lead character.
He truly is the lead in this sense. He truly would be the lead, right? So whereas in the second vignette, Kane is the lead.
Yeah. I can't remember if the last vignette was...
It was the shortest of them all. It was really just the
music
video.
Was it Akari's POV that we learned it? Or was she just the girl that...
In some ways, yes. When I recall it, as I recall it... Yeah. It becomes more but it's a very brief thought.
I was thinking, I mean... There was a film...
And you do understand her point of view anyway throughout the live action film.
Yeah, there was another similar film... had similar beats to 5 centimeters that I was thinking of seeing at some point, but I'm not sure if you heard of the 2023 film Past Lives by Celine Song. It's about...
Past Lives. I think the name sounds familiar. It's a live action movie,
It's a live action American movie about two South Korean...
Yes, I was aware of the title.
Yeah, I was just drawing parallels and thinking about that too, and I was thinking about watching that. But I feel like that would be that would be like an equivalent of 5 centimeters.
It could finish you off, dude.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. But like just from the trailer, it is about a film about these two, like South Koreans, that a woman and a man, they used to know each other during childhood, but then the woman moved to America, had her own life, has her own like partner now, and the man is just entered her life, and they don't, I don't believe they like it doesn't get any salacious or anything like that, but it's just more similar beats of like wondering what could have been, right? That lost love kind of feeling,
which is cool, and you feel the same way here.
Yeah.
As I said, if you ever get the chance to see it, it's worth seeing, if only because you can do the comparisons.
Yeah.
It's, to me, like the easy hook is because for people who saw the anime film, but obviously, does it stand by itself? For anybody who seeing it completely cold, not being familiar that it was, understanding that this was based on an anime done almost 20 years ago, well, it's worth watching. It's a standalone, and I think it stands up pretty well. And if the idea is it gets you curious about what it originally looked like, sure, I'm all for it. Now comes the tough part: where to see it, because. And this is the thing about Japanese films to me, right? Like Korean films go out of their way, I think, and maybe this is just me guessing, right?
Yeah.
You see a lot of Korean dramas on Netflix.
On Netflix, yeah. Even Disney Plus has them.
Its handful, its share, and that's before we get to something more specific like Viki, like Rakuten's service, which was independent, but there's an irony about Viki to me, because that's a predominantly most of that is predominantly Korean dramas.
Yeah.
But it's associated with a Japanese brand, right? With Rakuten, and maybe I'm a little surprised since Rakuten took it over that we haven't seen a bigger push. But maybe that's maybe like saying Loblaws and TNT. So, but you see that, and then it becomes problematic when you come to Japanese stuff, to Japanese live action stuff. Not so much the anime, because we've been there. You don't see that as much. So it becomes a lot. There's a lot of titles you will hear about. Live action adaptations, actually. Wodokoi. Marmalade Boy. I didn't know Marmalade Boy, how there was a live action version of Marmalade Boy made back in 2018, by the way, until recently. Right?
Yeah, I feel like when Netflix is adding a lot more Japanese dramas and films.
It's through the Fuji deal. It's through their collaboration.
Yeah, I know because my mom has been watching a couple of them, and if it's newer series, I feel like there's a good chance you'll see it at some point. But if it's like 2000s TV series films,
it would have had to been really popular, or it would have had to been a Fuji show.
Yeah.
Long Vacation is there, and that's considered the standard.
But I'm just thinking about, if you're talking about Japanese live action film, think about G-Kids and their deal with Toho, right? They're owned by Toho, but like they're releasing like the live action look back film, I believe. So there are like companies that are bringing a lot more Asian content in general, and G-Kids, I feel like you have to watch out for them. So, they do a lot. I know they always bring the anime films, but like they're starting to bring some live action titles as well. So
let's see what happens, because I think G-Kids, does G-Kids have the rights to 5 centimeters, the anime?
The anime film, who has the rights to 5 centimeters?
Presently, who has the distribution rights, right? So,
I'm not sure, because I think before Sentai had it, but I think their license ran out.
Long ago. That ran out long ago. Bandai had it. G-Kids announced they had licensed it in 2022. Something to look.
So yeah, I was right about G-Kids. Yeah, they're scooping up. Well, G-Kid, that's more of a Shinkai thing, because they want his whole filmography
as much as possible.
Yeah,
aside from the stuff.
Yeah, but 5 centimeters is like his. I feel like it's one of his non-fantastical sci-fi works.
Right, non-sci-fi.
Yeah, unless you count like his and her cat as well, right? But
That was more experimental, I thought.
yeah,
And then the last thing, on that, I always harp that that the Japan Foundation once in a while makes a handful of movies available too through their services, and it's free. And remember, like during the pandemic, they had an online film festival, and I think this is the legacy of that. So they rotate some movies and documentaries through their services, and it's geo-locked anyway. But the thing is, the selection varies region by region.
Yeah.
But I always there were movies there that I really personally enjoyed during the film festival. Hell. Streamer Kahu Shibuya, remember who I mentioned quite a bit. She's actually makes a cameo in one of the movie called Little Nights, Little Love. Mind you, that came out in the back end towards the very end of her AV side of her career, right?
Yeah.
So I think the cameo came as came in terms of a reference to her. I don't know. I have to double check that. Or wait, well, it's tough to double check if you can't you can't see the movie.
Yeah.
But she was known to have made a cameo in that. But the dates line up with the end of her AV career, I believe. Mm-hmm. So there's movies out there that you'd want to for some reason you cannot quickly see, right? Great Passage, which the anime Amazon quasi pushes it because it's on Prime.
Yeah.
And they digitally published the original novel.
And they got the anime, I believe, right?
That's the anime on Prime, right?
Yeah.
And there's a live action movie. That was Japan Foundation showed that back in 2020, and I haven't been able to find that since. Well, I just mentioned Wodokoi, right?
Yeah.
Before the Coffee Gets Cold, that popular book series, right? There was a live action adaptation. I don't know how many know that a live action adaptation called Cafe Funicula exists. And that's a live action adaptation of that book, although it deviates slightly.
Yeah.
Right? So, and I know people knew about who are fans of the book knew about that movie. They'd be wanting to see what that looked like, and it was good. Just for reference.
Yeah. And I guess we're just thinking about films released within the last 10 or 20 years, but I feel like for really old, like authentic, kind of the classic Japanese films, like you have the Criterion Collection. They always have a lot of retro releases as well. And I feel like there's, on the indie side, you have distributors like Neon and A24. Like if there's a good film that they can co-produce or release, I feel like they definitely get their hands on it for sure. But I feel like Netflix is kind of the key player in adding a lot of these live action Japanese films as well, right? Them and G Kids.
Oh, you think we've turned a corner? You think there's a corner about to be turned, if it hasn't been already?
I'm not too sure.
Because
I don't think I don't think it'll be like anime where it's always like licensed every time. It just depends on what what the film is. I guess if it's based on a property or maybe there's a famous director attached.
Or as I said, but let's be honest. As much as I liked A Great Passage, that's not really much of an IP.
Yeah.
However, when you say Makoto Shinkai, maybe we should pay attention to what G Kids does next.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyway, okay. All right, so since we've had you here, thanks for doing this. And I guess we should finish up soon because I'm hungry.
Yeah, I'm hungry too, man.
What's on your read? I always like to traditionally ask, okay, what's on your read and watch, and what's in your queue then? Just before we
you might need to ramble a bit because I need to pull out my phone just to think.
A couple minutes? Well, yeah. Okay, a couple minutes for me. I guess I'll start. And there isn't too because I don't give myself time to do too much right now because my own, as I said, my 9 to 5, or it's not really 9 to 5. It's but I just don't give myself the time because there are other things I want to do. I mean, I'm looking through my I'm looking through my light novel collection just to see, and manga collection right now because because I usually go on my annual shopping spree. My annual book shopping spree that's coming up.
I gotta stop myself buying books because I've had too much. Too many on my bookshelf and to read list, so.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, like, Girl Next Door spoils me, Angel Next Door spoils me rotten, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I've watched the anime, I have to start reading the light novels, give myself time. Alia, same thing.
Are you reading the manga for those stuff as well, or is
I have the first
novel?
couple volumes of it's light novels.
Okay.
Whatever I know the core material to be is the one I'll focus on.
Okay.
So I made friends with the second prettiest girl. We've harped that people are harping about getting the light novel that hasn't been officially licensed in English.
Not yet. Yeah. Not.
You think
the manga? I think
the manga long ago. Yes.
Yeah.
And
I deal with I deal with a lot of manga and light novel
Yen Press
licenses.
and by the way, Yen Press hears the request loud and clear.
Yeah.
But just you can't get. But that's it. I mean, there's no point to saying any more because
light novels are just a tough sell sometimes because
But once again, it comes down to how popular the IP has become, and I know.
And they could always release it digitally, if anything.
Well, that's the case with my stepmom's daughter is my ex because I read that. I've read that. Look. Forget about 2026. I'm trying to catch up on 2023 too, because since I've read the manga version of Girl I Like forgot her glasses. I'm trying to finish the anime version.
Yeah,
a couple episodes away from that season.
It's a Gohan's title. You might have some issue.
Well, I watched it, and I try not to take that part too seriously because I now am aware of what I'm in for.
Yeah, I'm behind on some shows from last season as well.
Same here.
I want to finish Trigun Stargaze, but I'm just I'm just 2 episodes away. I just haven't had the chance to.
Later towards the end of the year, the next season of The Detective Is Already Dead comes out. So I want to at least.
That's another show I need to catch up this season.
Yeah, and I want to watch. I want to see that, and I'm curious about it. And I know that's based on a light novel.
Oh, sorry. So I'll say there's another anime this season with a similar title, but it's more like Killed Again, Mr. Detective.
Oh yeah, that one, I know.
I was there about that series.
It's
sorry,
like
I know about the detective. I know about that.
But there's that one.
Yeah.
And so that's. But I haven't started that because I want to finish up everything else that I said I'm watching. So and then on the that's what's on the list at the moment. I wanted to reread the entire Kaguya-sama manga. Yeah. Because I stopped at a point, and now a couple years later I've forgotten because that's my old age talking.
Yeah.
So but those are the cues at the moment. But with the World Cup going on, Tunisia, Japan at midnight, by the way.
Wow, that's a late night game.
Well, that's a late night game for us, but it's a 9 p.m. where it's being played, I think. I forgot exactly which.
Was it Vancouver? Or
no, it's not in Vancouver. I'll double check. But let me double check it since we brought it up.
It's just funny because my sister was watching a World Cup game late between Mexico and South Korea. Yeah,
that was a couple nights ago, and and Mexico won that. Yeah. My Korean friends are shrugging their shoulders. It's in Monterey.
Okay. California?
No, Monterey, Mexico.
Oh, Mexico. Okay.
So Tunisia, Japan takes place in Mexico later tonight.
Right.
Okay, so you had time?
I had look at my thing.
I'm not going to ask you to go through the entire list because I'm not sure.
Yeah, of course. I mean, okay. In terms of a book I'm reading, so I was sent a copy of a book from Jonathan Clements. I don't know if you know that writer.
I know him.
He does a lot of good anime books, and his recent
good history books actually.
Yeah, and his recent book called Japan's Anime Revolution: 20 Animated Films That Changed the World. I'm reading through that now, and it's like so detailed. He's a great storyteller. He basically goes through a lot of the most impactful, I guess, legacy creating anime films that have been released since 1945. and the way he starts each chapter is he describes like a certain scene from an anime film. Like I believe he talked about things like The Wings of Hanamai's, Ghost in a Shell. And then all the big influential anime films throughout history, and he does it right. I'm working way through it right now, but gives a lot of good stories about the behind the scenes stuff, the impact that the anime films had, and it's just a great read. I love his I appreciate and like his writing a lot, and I honestly I'd recommend that book to you if you ever.
It sounds like some like look, I know Jonathan Clements. I respect him. I can't say I've read a book, but I know of him and I've read some of his articles.
Anime a History. I think I have the book at home, but it's really kind of a really dense textbook. But it's like it has a lot of it's very detailed, and but yeah, this one's a little more digestible. If you're interested or fascinated with like Japanese anime film history,
we've had Matt Alt on once, and I talk with him every so often. Pure Invention is still something a book I highly recommend. So I get it. Maybe one or two more titles.
One or two more titles. Wow.
An anime.
I was gonna take two anime titles, maybe. Okay, two.
Yeah. So let's mention them.
I'm enjoying a show called Daemons of the Shadow Realms from the creator
of Full Metal
Alchemist. Yeah, it's such a it's an action-packed show, but the action is kind of sequestered in like specific moments. But for the most part, it's a bit of a slower paced show. But it's very like it. I just love following it and learning about this world and seeing like the protagonist just have this fish out of water moment, trying to get used to modern life, right? Because he was living in the mountains for so long, and like I'm liking the series so far, and it has two chords in it, and it's. That one I can definitely recommend for sure. I guess another title, I'm just trying to look it up. I have to catch up on this, but it was like, it's an underrated hit that I don't think a lot of people know about, called Aaron the Southpaw. And it kind of follows like different people working in creative fields. Like it follows one guy who works as an sort of a designer for a creative ad agency. And then it follows another girl who kind of works as a freelance artist, like who paints and does a lot of this, kind of suffers these like, kind of has the suffering artist syndrome, if you're familiar with that. So
I have to look it up a little more, but
Aaron the Southpaw, yeah, it's a very adult show, especially if you ever had a career working with creatives, this is definitely, I can definitely recommend that for sure. But
so those are it.
Yeah, I mean that's just two. I'm watching a lot of stuff right now, and I have to catch up on a lot of stuff too, right?
But at least worth mentioning, right?
Definitely worth mentioning. So 2 books and 1 book and 2 animes. I think we'll do it for sure.
Yeah. Well, we'll ask a little bit more maybe when you get through the list. I'll ask myself a little bit more when I get through my list.
Yeah, we'll see.
Anyway, thanks for doing this.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Mike.
So, do it again? You want?
We'll have to see. Yeah, hopefully our schedules align at some point.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, we'll try and get the others on soon enough as well.
Well, I'd love to have Kevin and James pop in here. These unscripted chats as well.
Anyway, well, that's it. So you made it to the end of the Space Heater. Let us know what you think wherever you're watching or listening to this, either in the comments down below or animeroundtable.com. If you're listening to this on YouTube, because really that's all you can really do on YouTube, do us a favor, give us a thumbs up. It'll greatly help us and the roundtable as a whole. Also, let me also recommend Anime Trend. Anime. What's Anime Trending's website? How do it?
It's anitrends.net. So it's ANITRENDS.net. or anytrends.com. I forgot we changed our domain as well. So either way, it kind of works. So, if anything, I'll just message you later.
Or just Google it.
Yeah, you can Google it.
Yeah. Well, as I said, so give that a thumbs up as well. It helps everybody, right?
Yeah.
Do yourself and one final favor: give us a subscribe on YouTube, a follow on Twitch, and a bookmark wherever you get your podcasts, so you know whenever we're up to something next time. Well, let's go get dinner.
That wraps it up.
Yeah, that wraps it up. God save the Burger King.
Oh yeah, I remember there was a Burger King nearby here.
Yeah, well, let's go there.
Okay.
Have a good night.